Hi there, Bo Fisher, Fisher and Weens Wealth Management. Well, we're about a month away from an election. And don't worry, take a little sigh, deep breath. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, and I'm not going to tell you who I'm voting for, and I'm not going to predict the winner. What I do want to talk about is how are our investments going to do based on whether it's Biden, a Democrat, or Trump, a Republican, who gets elected. The media and our friends, and just emotionally, we feel like based on this election result, it will really drastically affect our investments. Well, most of you know I'm a mathematical person. I look at the numbers, and I like to look at history to tell us, or at least give us a guide at what might happen in the future. So let's look at the history of what happens when a Democrat wins the White House or a Republican wins the White House, and how drastically different the rate of returns are in the stock market. This is what's going to be surprising to some of you, that basically there's not any difference between whether it's a Republican or a Democrat in the White House. So let me show you a chart on partisan investing. What's partisan investing? Well, that means that if you're feeling like if Joe Biden, a Democrat, wins the White House, you don't want to invest in the markets because it's not going to do well. Or if you're feeling like, well, if Trump gets reelected as a Republican, I don't want to invest anymore. Well, if you would have done that over the last 100 years, meaning that you only invested when the party you like is in the White House, you would have struggled. And so here's a chart that shows the difference. If you had only invested when a Republican is in the White House, this is your rate of return. $10,000 over 100 years turned into roughly this amount. Here's if it was only a Democrat when you invested, and then this is how much you would have if you would have stayed investing, regardless if it's a Democrat or Republican in the White House. So different. Let's stay engaged. Abraham Lincoln said, let's figure out where to stand and then stand firm. And for me, that means let's stay engaged in the markets. Another interesting thing is there's a theory out there that if a Democrat is in the White House, we're better off if a Republican or the Republicans lead Congress, so that there's checks and balances, and vice versa. Republican in the White House, Democrats in the Congress. And that theory sounds interesting, but the truth and the statistics and the math shows us that there really isn't actually any difference. Look at this chart. It shows all the different variations, whether there's a sweep of Republicans, sweep to the Democrats, or a conflict between the two, White House and Congress. And it just shows that no matter all the different variations, we make money, and pretty significant amount. And that's good news. And so this is not a political video, it's just a math video and a historical video on the investment side. Whether Trump gets elected or Biden gets elected, we should be pretty comfortable historically that we're going to be fine. Now, there is differences between Joe Biden and Trump. And based on who wins, I could change the way we're going to invest. If Joe Biden becomes president, I probably will invest a little bit more into infrastructure companies and something called ESG, which is environmental, social, and governance type companies. If President Trump gets reelected, we're going to stay a little bit heavier into tech and financials. So there is a difference, a little bit of variation, but we're going to stay engaged because the markets do well, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. So hopefully we can all stay a little bit more calm when the chaos of this election continues. As always, I really hope that you're healthy, your family is safe, and until the next video where I get to see you, be well.